Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. The topic is the goal of human life and its fulfillment. As it was mentioned in the preview, in the olden days, the society was simple and was guided by the sages in the scriptures. It was easy for the society, for the people to understand the ideal and the goal of life. Coming to the modern age, the age we live in, it isn't that easy. Even men and women in the 20s or 30s still don't understand, don't have enough maturity to get along in the life. And what to speak of ideal and goal. So that is why we are trying to just try to understand what it all means about. The need for a goal. Swami Vivekananda had said, it was in the preview as it's mentioned, that if a person with a goal does 1,000 mistakes, I'm sure a person without a goal may do 50,000 mistakes. Life will be full of mistakes. So it's important that we have a goal in our life. By goal, we mean always higher value, higher ideals. But why do people lack or don't care for it? All people do not feel the need for a goal in life. Food, clothing, shelter, as we call in India, roti kapda or makan. And then education, job, health, family, friends. If these are there, that's fine. They don't ask much from life. They're happy with it. But things don't go that way. There are so many forces that influence our life. They have impact on our life, which neither we can deal with nor fix it or fiddle with it. Can't do anything. We have no hands over it. We have no say over it. But if at all the life accords good things, opportunities, then thinking people, I put the adjective, thinking people, we do put or ask questions. Is this all the life gives? Is this all about the life? Or is there something more, something higher, stable, enduring? So with this question, there are likely chances to have a goal. And then again, there is this inescapable, inevitable experience of life, which is collectively called dukkha, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, birth, death, old age, disease. These are collectively called as dukkha. Swami Vivekananda says, misery is the greatest teacher. And no soul has ever attained to God or reached its source without blows. The twin birds allegory in the Upanishad aptly illustrates this idea. Two birds of same plumage perch on the tree of life. A bird on the higher branch sitting in its own majesty, not bothering to eat anything. Whereas the lower bird hopping continuously, eating sweet and bitter fruits of the tree. And when it eats something bitter, it just glances at the higher bird. How wonderful. And then again forgets, again keep hopping. Eat good, bad, because you don't expect always good fruits. And then finally, when it is fortunate enough to eat the bitterest fruit, then with one hop, it reaches the higher bird, the higher branch, only to know that there were no two birds. There was always only one bird. The other bird was only its shadow, an illusion. So our separate existence is an illusion, which we so tenaciously hold on to our bosom. So this is the, what do you call, melody, patheticness of life. Anyway, so misery and sorrow has its own place in the economy of life. With this belief that there must be some spiritual solution to these problems, to the sufferings, a person seeks higher ideals. And this was why Buddha left home. With this faith, there must be some, with this belief. And then he worked on it and attained illumination. So some faith to illumination is the journey of a soul. And then such is the law of nature, that if there is sincere seeking, we are certainly bound to get an ideal understanding of it and get the courage to work on it and reach the goal. When such an ideal life provides, then we need to seize upon that opportunity. And when that ideal is emotionally convincing, intellectually convincing, emotionally satisfying, then we embark on a journey. And this faith is not just the correct translation of faith is Shraddha. Shraddha, goal orientation. Belief is passive, but faith is dynamic. Why? Faith inspires the will and enables to harness all our energies that are available to us in converting the ideal into a direct experience. So attainment of the desired goal is possible through this Shraddha, goal orientation. And always when we start a journey, an unknown destination, we put GPS. It's very important. Now we have got, we cannot do without it. So even in spiritual life also, there are maps, which when we know is easy. With less faults, we can go. So Hinduism offers many such views of reality. We have got the Shad Darshanas, 6 systems of philosophy and all that. Among that, Vedanta, the jewel of philosophies, is what we are trying to understand through. This is the perspective which we are trying to understand what the ideal and goal would be. So what's an ideal? Tattva, nature of reality. We need to have a clear idea of the whole of reality of which we are a part. And it's not just the theoretical understanding, but it is more about how we relate ourselves to the world around and to the spiritual principle which guides the destiny of both animate and inanimate varieties. So we need to think, understand, there's a triangle of reality, meaning three things we need to understand in our goal or the ideal means the Jiva, the Jagat, the Ishvara, the soul, the universe, and God. These are the three triangles of reality. We'll try to understand what this is. By the time we understand, get a clear conception of it, we would have had an idea of what really we want to attain and how we would do it. So it's just a, what do you call, a bird's eye view. It's not easy to discuss all this in just a small talk, but then we will try to. So soul is the first angle of the triangle of reality, or tattva. So one's concept of reality depends upon one's concept of oneself. Did you get it? Atma abhimano yadrishi tadanugunaiva purushartha pratiti. What we think supreme goal or thing to be attained very much depends upon what we think of ourselves. That is how we have this beautiful saying, Deha buddhya dasoham, jiva buddhya tadamshakah, atma buddhya tvamevaham. So this is how the philosophies go. And then a person who thinks oneself, later on I will go. There's not necessary to discuss about it right now. So that's very important. We have to, our ideal depends upon what we think of ourselves. So we should, as spiritual aspirants, we need to have a clear understanding of what our real nature is. Of course, this will not be given right in the beginning of our endeavor, but the scriptures teach us that's according to Vedanta, a jiva or a soul, in its intrinsic sense, in its intrinsic nature, it is the Atman, the eternal, pure, immortal, self-luminous, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta. That's how we say. Eternal, pure, self-luminous, free, immortal, and an inseparable part of Brahman, the Supreme Spirit. And this doctrine is the foundation of all the ethics. So a spiritual aspirant should have this as the basis of his moral and spiritual life. On this foundation, we have to build our spiritual life. And so to look upon oneself as ever pure Atman is a positive way of attaining to the purity, rather than thinking of oneself as worthless sinner, which is not suitable for this age, or it doesn't agree with the Vedantic ideals or the yoga or Vedanta. But it is also true, this purity and divinity is not given into experience. Ajnane navritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantava, Sri Krishna says. Knowledge is covered by ignorance. It is not given into experience straight away. We have to work on it. Swamiji speaks of potential divinity. This potential divinity has to be actualized. That's the goal. The ideal is the faith, the shraddha, that each soul is potentially divine. And the goal is to actualize it, manifest it in a workaday life. So the Upanishads teaches us that human personality has different levels, koshas, it calls different levels or dimensions of human personality. The lower ones are related to the physical body, the vital functions, the mind, and these are what is involved in the normal life of ordinary persons. The higher levels are in the realm of spiritual, the spirit. The spiritual aspirants have to understand that the center of awareness keeps constantly moving to these different planes. And sometimes it's really disturbing. And as in the beginning, of course, everyone will have to go through this. It's what you call very, a very sensitive, unstable period of sadhana. You have to go through. But slowly we learn, we understand the center of consciousness is not the one which is the focus of center of consciousness is what it is. Focus of consciousness is what is going up and down. So this understanding between the two is very important in our sadhana. The center of consciousness, the awareness, is heart, or the Upanishad speaks even of this forehead, middle of the forehead, from where the consciousness pervades all the levels. Imagine that you are at the top of the staircase. In the dark, you have a flashlight. And when you focus the light on a particular step, that step gets illumined. And then you know that this is there. It's real. Oh, I have to keep my step there. So when the focus of consciousness is focused on different level, that level becomes very real. Supposing the focus of consciousness is the emotional level. So the emotional life becomes very real with its drives and instincts, which can haunt us. So the spiritual aspirants should understand. Don't get frightened when this happens. Many times I used to speak to our Matajis, why does this happen? Matajis were so, just ignore and try to think of your real nature, your pure. So that's the bringing back this focus of consciousness to higher level. So when we were young, youths, very young, so that is to be the problem. And that is how the best thing is ignore. Just don't give attention. An uninvited guest will say, oh, no one is according me any welcome. So after sometimes it will go. So it will die off. It will go away. So that's how, it's in the common language, this is how the experience I'm having. Not in a philosophical way. It's no meaning in explaining. So this is what happens. Once we understand this, then through our sadhana, prayer, meditation, worship, we try to keep the focus of consciousness near the center. Don't allow it to go below. Bring it, try to keep it. How do we do it? Through studies, through japa, through meditation, through holy company. We keep the focus of consciousness near the center, to the heart center. Not allowing to go. In this way, the more we do this, that's the sadhana. What else is sadhana? That's a spiritual practice. Trying to come back to the point, which is our real nature. And then, as we keep doing this, the more we do this, the more our spiritual life will become real. If not, it's unrealistic. It will not have any motivation. It will not inspire. After some time, it will go and stop. So this is something we have to know about ourselves. This is the one angle we studied. So the second angle is Jagat, the universe. The second angle of the triangle is Jagat, the universe. It's very important for us to know that our attitude towards the world has its influence on our attitude towards God. Our attitude towards the world has its influence on our attitude towards the God. See, in the Gita, the famous 4 classifications of the devotees, what Sri Krishna says, is based on this difference. Artha, Artharthi, Jignasu, Jnani. Artha, the sufferer, the person. What's his attitude towards life? It's of helplessness and surrender. Then Artharthi, the person who seeks wealth and power, is aggressive. His attitude is one of aggressiveness. And again, Jignasu, who wants to understand the mysteries of the world. His is the attitude of inquisitiveness. All the inventions and the scientists and all this fall into this category. And finally, Jnani. He alone seeks God realization. That's the only thing, nothing else. Neither I'm afraid of life, suffering, nor I'm inquisitive to know, nor I'm afraid of unknown. But my purpose is God realization. Very focused. And Sri Krishna says that he's the best. So we as spiritual aspirants would certainly desire this attitude. And for this attitude, we need to understand the nature of the world. So as for the nature of the world, whether the world is real or unreal, all these are, we will leave it to the religious teachers or the schools of philosophy. We don't have to bother so much. But there are 3 things which has direct influence on our life. And what are they? Polarity, change, unity. So these are the things of the world which has some direct influence on our life. So let's take polarity of life. So all experience, it's the most obvious and unavoidable aspect of life is contradiction. Everything in the world, life is contradictory. Knowledge, ignorance, happiness, misery, then good, bad, virtue, vice, everything comes in dual throng, contradictions. And when we understand this aspect of the world and life, then we will not be surprised when we see all the injustice, wickedness, arrogance, and whatnot, which is happening, which we encounter in the world. We see this every day, how things are. So this will not surprise. This is how the world goes. And Swamiji's father had said, he had given a piece of advice to young Narendra. Don't be surprised with anything in the life. Anything can happen. There's nothing surprising. You don't have to feel, is it so? No, anything can happen. And how are we to deal with this universe? As Sri Krishna says, Tam titikshasva bharata, forbear. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, shaw, shaw, shaw. In Bengali, they use a lot of shaw, shaw. There are 3 shaws. Shaw, 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 shaw. So 3 shaws. So he used to say, shaw, shaw, shaw. Means, shajja karo, shajja karo, shajja. Forbear, forbear, forbear. You have to make all the 3 in the same. So forbear. That's the only thing. We can't do many things. We cannot. All we can is, this is how it happened. We pray and we have an enlightened detachment. It's very, very necessary. This detachment is very necessary. This, what do you call it? The first aspect shows us titiksha, forbearance. And the second, and don't think that Tiksha is a negative thing. It's the greatest strength. Only people who are strong can forbear and put up. Sri Ramakrishna says, Jai Shoy, She Roy. Jai Nash Hoy, She Nash Hoy. Means one who forbears will survive, will go through, will pass over the problems. But one who doesn't will perish, will lose. You have got to put up. Sri Ramakrishna used to live with his nephew, Hriday, hot-headed man. Good, he had served him, but very hot-headed fellow. And Sri Ramakrishna said, look, Hriday, when you are angry, I'll keep quiet. I'll forbear with you. And when I'm angry, you keep. If both of us start yelling and talking and fighting, we will be driven out. They'll throw us out. See, this is how family, like it happens. Somebody is dominating, somebody is assertive, someone has to be. If both start hitting, then we break up. Oh, that's how the world, every home will become like that. So we have to, life teaches us this lesson and we need to learn it. It is not negative or what do you call a failure or something, accepting the failure. No, it's a strength. You have the courage to give a blow, but at that time, still you resist. Pardon. So it's a strength. It's a capacity to forgive and forget. It's a great strength. So this aspect we need to keep in our mind with regard to world. The next is the change. So the change is also another great aspect. And change also means impermanence. The teachers of the world, religion, whether they agree with the world is real or unreal, whatever it is, but they all agree on this one fact, that it is impermanent. It's constantly changing. Samsara, the word what we say, samyak sarati, constantly moving. Nothing. It's in a constant state of flux. It's moving. Our own body, mind, our understanding, our emotions, nothing stays. Today I'll be terribly angry. Tomorrow you see, no, I'm not. I've forgotten that. See, everything happens like that. It's everything. Even sorrow, you cannot hug the sorrow for a long time. Time is a healer of sorrow. Slowly we'll overcome it. See, if it was permanent, this world would have become a lunatic asylum. No. That also, everything is kshanika. Continuously changing, change, impermanence. They are synonymous. And so, and how do we deal with this? But one thing we know, everything is changing true. Only one thing is not changing. That is our true nature. Upon this unchanging thing, change comes. If there is nothing, something stable, constant, solid something, the change cannot be. But the Atma alone, the body, mind, intellect, everything is. The Atman alone is the one. And another thing about the impermanence is time. The concept of time comes. Time is another aspect of change. Though the spirit is changeless, infinite, but as long as it inhabits a physical body, it is bound by time. And a soul cannot remain eternally in one body. This is what the mistake the demons make. Every time they don't want to die. They want to be alive. Mortality can never be on the matter. Matter is not. It's the immortal self. Matter is always mortal. It will go. Mortal and matter, it's all coming from the same thing. So when the soul inhabits at a certain time and the life has afforded us the ideas, and look, how we have got some time to sit and think all these Vedantic ideals. Supposing we were in Gaza. No, I'm not telling. So this is the fact. Look at, count our blessings. We have to count our blessings. To sit and think of something. How fortunate we are. So economic stability, political security, these are all the factors. And we are now at present in this body. We have to make use of it. Make hay while sun shines, as the proverb goes. Make use of this opportunity. That is it. Important. No procrastination. Don't keep religion and philosophy for the old age. You know, that by 60, 65, people get dementia. And what philosophy, what religion can they practice? Start it an early age. This is what. And the change. So a spiritual aspirant has two qualities we have to, virtues we have. One is our dependence on the matter is to be reduced. And second is we have to be careful about the time. We should be very, very alert and make the best use of the given time and accelerate our spiritual evolution. And the third is the unity, polarity, change, and unity. These are the aspects, 3 aspects that have direct impact on our life, on a sadhaka. So what is unity? It's the basic solidarity of life. With all its polarity and changes, life may seem to be fragmented, this what do you call, continuous, seen from the standpoint of senses and mind. But when they are transcended, we see a fundamental unity. So even if we do not have the experience, we need to hold on this idea. There is unity. This is how the societies work, the world goes. It is expressed through love, concern for the community. All these things are nothing but the values which we try to practice and overcome our limited individuality. Hence, a spiritual aspirant has, through love and unselfish service, connect himself or herself to a larger life. So this is the 3 things which have direct impact on us, and this is how we deal with it. And the third triangle of the reality is Ishvara, God. These are 3, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. So we have come to the third aspect of the triangle, the third angle of the triangle. God is known in Vedanta as Brahman. And Vedanta is divided into dualism and non-dualism. According to dualism, God is a supreme person endowed with infinite good qualities, Kalyana Guna. And nevertheless, he is the inner controller, Antaryaman. And the impersonal non-dualism is, in non-dualism, God is regarded as impersonal, formless, without any attribute. So it is the aspirant's duty, or the aspirant has to make a choice. It's not like asking in the gospel, do you like God with form or without form? No, it's not that. Our choice depends upon, as I told you, about how you look upon yourself. Only a person who has convinced, who has experienced that I am an impersonal, I am the Atman spirit, can have the ideal of Nirguna Brahma. There are people down to earth, but no, we don't believe in God with form, especially those Brahmo Samaj people, they used to do. Down to earth people, world is there, everything is done. But as far as God is concerned, he's impersonal. He should not have any form. What about you? I is okay. Whatever it is, it's not Advaita. It may be any other philosophy. It's not Advaita for sure. So in order to have practice that, we should have some at least rudimentary experience of our personality as impersonal. And it's not. And to worship God as a personality, it's not just enough to think of ourselves, to look upon ourselves as a human being. Then, whether we are dualist or non-dualist, whatever it is, we have to understand that we are part of the reality called Supreme Brahman, and that we are spiritual. Our idea of us, we have to look upon ourselves as pure spirit, luminous. Jyoti Swarup. We have to, what do we say in the bhajan every day we sing? Jyotira Jyoti Ujala Hridi Kandhar. Jyotira Jyoti, light of all lights. Means I am light. And God is the light which illumines this light. We have a beautiful picture which one of our devotee had painted. Ula. A beautiful idea, It's the idea which Ajapana Mataji gave for on meditation. There is water, and then there's a lotus, red lotus. On it, there is a light. On that, Sri Ramakrishna. It's a beautiful picture. It's a very good idea for meditation. So our heart is the lotus on which we, who are of the nature of self-luminous, and God is the self of the self. We sing Atmara Mer Atma Kali. So we are spiritual. Our relationship with God, when we say God, we look upon God as Father. It's not the physical relationship. It's Atmic relationship. So I need to have some sort of an idea, or rather very clear idea, that I am spirit, blessed and eternal, a part of the Supreme reality. Let's start with that. We do not think the world doesn't exist. I alone exist. I am the Brahman, infinite. It's too much. But this, I am also light. God is the light of the light. He is who is illuminating. He is animating this whole body, mind. So that sort of idea it's in between. It's like Ramanuja's philosophy. It strikes a balance between the two. So we need to look upon ourselves as pure, luminous, spiritual entity, not a physical, not identifying ourselves with the body, mind. It will drag us down. Swami Vivekananda's definition, one of the definition of Swamiji on religion is, religion is the eternal relationship of the eternal soul and the eternal God. Eternal relationship of eternal soul with eternal God. Even before we came into the womb of mother, our relationship is always safe and sound with God. There's a saying in Bengali. When I was in the womb of my mother, I was in union with God. The moment I fell on the earth, I forgot him. Yes. It seems, the knowing ones have said this. When the jiva is in the womb, it goes through a lot of, it's very difficult. It's not a very pleasant experience to be in the womb of a mother, especially if she's an alcoholic and a smoker. The choking the child would go through, it's terrible. And to be there, it's the most, unpleasant. We have to go to, that is why it is called birth is a pain. And as soon as the baby is born and the baby cries, and we are also happy the baby has come out. That's what Tulsidas said. When you were born, the world laughed. When you were crying, the world laughed. and you lead your life in such a way, when you go, the world will cry. You see? So it's a dukkha. And that's why he said, na, janma dukkha, mrityu dukkha, everything. No one is asking us to give up everything and go. No. When we live in the world, a certain amount of detachment has to be. Even to enjoy a good tournament, you should have aesthetic detachment. If not, what you see, what happens in the playground? They go to see the tournament or the game, and then the both parties start fighting. It's just a game, and where you end up in all sorts of nonsense. So detachment is very, very important. And when it is true that religion is the relationship, eternal relationship of the eternal soul with and the eternal God, then it's of paramount importance for us to establish a strong, intimate, loving relationship with God, who is our eternal companion. Thank you.
So as you know, all our regular activities have recommenced. We've got the yoga class on Thursday from 10 to 11:15 a.m. Next Friday night, we have the Bhagavad Gita discussion led by Pravrajka. Next Sunday, we have Shivaratri celebration. And we will have talks by Pravrajka and Dr. Vivekananda. And you're invited to bring some sweets or savories for offering. Just to let you know, as you might have seen in our weekly email, the very special event with the Australia's Race Discrimination Commissioner. He's had something come up on the original date. So we've now put that back to Sunday, the 18th of May. I've requested him not to come up with not to make us cancel or change the date again. So he's promising to definitely come on Sunday, 18th of May. And we'll have the other special guest speakers as well. So we'll keep reminding you about that. Should be a very interesting, worthwhile event. Now we'll conclude with a guided meditation, which I will conduct. So give me a couple of minutes to get set up for that.